Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Teresa with TH Creates, and I am finished with my Frida tag album. I used a Graphic 45 tag album to create this, and I think that I'm going to take her apart to actually show you the tags instead of trying to flip through it, because as I suspected, she ended up being a chunky girl, and so this might just be a little bit easier. So the very first tag that I have here is a nice quote. I never painted dreams. I painted my own reality. And then the little Frida here. I did a lot of gold and clear embossing on this. This is a Tim Holtz die. So I was able to pull out a lot of my old stuff. I used my tattered florals. I showed that in one of my technique or process videos. And then on this one, it is that old bird cage, or it's caged bird alterations die, the thick one. So those, I believe that bird cage and those tattered flowers are like the very first dies that I ever purchased. So I went ahead and busted this one open. It is up on, I reinforced this with another piece of this black cardstock in the back. And then this part up here is popped up. And then I kind of bowed it in and glued it down. I wanted this to be free, like all of these little butterflies are getting out. And this says, feet, what do I need them for? I have wings to fly. And then these little guys are from, and I did this years ago. So I have these stamps. Aren't these cute? And I want to say that I did these based on a tutorial by Gail Augustinelli. I could be wrong, but I believe that that's who I got this from. But it was just using your tissue paper and gluing it down onto book page and then cutting it out like it was a stamp, and then using the little canceled and number icons, all the little postage stamps to make them look like they were canceled stamps. And they're beautiful, but I had some that I did that were specifically with butterflies. So I dug through this and I pulled out all the butterflies that I had and then cut them out. And so that's the effect that it gives them. So it's tissue paper glued down onto book page, and that's what these guys are. And if you flip them over, you can see there's the little book page, but they have a nice texture to them because of the way they were glued down and everything. So, and then I went back to my old jewelry making days and did some, you can see that I first started out, it was a little bit iffy, and then I got better as I went along, but I attached these little skulls to the bottom, and then you can see them because they rotate. You can see them from either direction. They'll rotate on that. So isn't that pretty? All right, I'm gonna set that aside. The next one is my abuela. So this is an actual portrait that Frida painted. So that's one of her original pieces. And then I incorporated some of that tea dye and distress stained paper and some leaves and things that I embossed, and just a lot of stenciling in the background, lots of layers, lots of stamping. This little bit of stamping here, it looks like word stamp or writing stamp. Let me pull that out. Is from this guy. I've had it forever. I couldn't even tell you where I got it from, but it's on the foam. And so it's just kind of a foam mounted cling stamp, and it's red rubber, and you can't really tell what it is. So it's just a nice script that I like to use. And I ended up using it in a lot of places on these tags. And then I've got some ribbon on the bottom. This is also one of Frida's portraits that she painted, or one of her paintings. And I don't know, he looks, I don't know if he's supposed to be alive, sick, deceased. I don't know what it is, but I thought he looked like he was kind of sickly or deceased. Anyhow, so I put this, I used some of my loteria cards from my Mexican bingo, my Mexican loteria. And so I used La Muerte here, and then one of those stamps there, because he's got these little irises, and I thought that they looked pretty. So I tried to pull those in where I could. And here's some floral in the background, one of these little butterflies here, another one here. So I just did some layering, some collage work there, just layered it up. And that's that. And then on this one, I have a nice skull background. This was using that packing tape technique that I went ahead and used that. This is a self-portrait of Frida, but I backed it onto some paper that had some scroll in the background so you can see it where her hands are, and also where her skin is. You can see the nice little scrolls in the background. I used a punch to, I think it was a die cut. It was a die cut to get this. And so I put a little corona behind her, and then an anatomically correct heart, because she used those quite a bit in her art. And on the flip side, again, I just layered up some Frida sentiments. There's roses in the background, el corazon here, and that's another Loteria card. I had this little bit of, it looks like collage work here that I ended up taking out, and it says, I paint self-portraits because I am the person I know the best. And that's what it says here. And then here it says, I would like to be the beautiful pearl on your bright earring so that I could kiss your little ear and bite your little cheek. So that's what's on that little panel. And then roses across the bottom and more lace. And then this one, I actually have a process video on how I did this. So I'll just let you take a look at that one real quick. Use the little specks of gold there, the little dots. So this is actually one of the videos that I do in the series. And then let's see the next one. I used that graphic 45 paper and embellishments to go ahead and make this card. I did some stenciling in the background, and then did one of those cover plates, and it's one of the Starburst cover plates to put in the background. Popped this image up and then added some layers of lace in here. There's several layers. There's this one with the little balls in the end. There's some gold in the background. And then on this side, I did some clear emboss with some scrolls, and I was so happy because I pulled out so many things that I haven't used in years, like those stamps with the butterflies, the script stamp, my tattered florals die, and also my birdcage die. And then this guy I've had for forever as well. And it used to be on a wood-mounted, stamp, and I had pulled it off ages ago and put it on some of the foam. So that's where it is. And so I did this swirl in the background in a clear emboss, but I made this series of tags here, and they kind of just flip through. So again, this is gold embossed with that script. And then this little tag. This is I've got this little cross on the dangle here. And then this, and it's the same type of material. It was in the same kit that those little skulls came from. And I've got this little tag, again, that's that gold embossed script here. This is some German scrap wings that I've had in my stash for forever. But let me rotate it. And then on the next one, it's La Calavera. So, and then if you rotate it again, the next one is that scroll embossed in gold here, and then the skull, acetate skull put down over it. You can see that. So it's just a set of layered little tags that I did, and then added that because they were all kind of the same theme. So that is tag number, is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And then this one, this was my 4th tag tutorial that I did. This is the most recent one. I just finished it. So if you wanted to see some of the techniques on that, you can go over to my videos, and you can see that was tag number 4. And then this one, I had this cute little image here, and there's more of that script in the background. I had the Milagro hearts here. I cut this one out of this background paper, and I used some glossy accents to make it kind of pop, and then I popped it up on some foam dots. I used a border stamp with some butterflies to punch this out, and then did some gold emboss of that script across the bottom. I used that quite a bit throughout just to kind of pull things together. I like to kind of use some things that were a little bit fluid. And this is one of Frida's artworks here too. I used some German scrap down here. I used the Loteria's La Sandia card, and then these guys. Okay, so I had these guys. Let me see. It's this paper, and it's Spanish tiles. but I wanted to use this Mosaics stencil that I had. So I used some oxide ink and then stenciled that blue on there. And then I cut out, I had a Mosaics punch, and I think it was a Stampin' Up punch. It went with one of their Mosaics kits. And so I punched out sections of this. Some of them I left plain, like here and here, and then others I covered with glossy accents. This one I actually popped up, but then I glued them down in certain spots where that mosaic is so that it kind of carried through. So it's the Mexican tile or Spanish tile with the artwork. So that's what I did with that. And I did have to order more glossy accents because I was running out. And let me see, I think this was the very first tag tutorial that I did. So that this is more of that tea dye and distress stain spray paper that I did. So I punched that out and then embossed it to make it pop. I added another one of those butterflies from the tissue from the little stamps collection. And then on the flip side, I changed this up quite a bit. I did La Rosa, and then this is, I leave you my portraits so you can have my presence all the days and nights that I am away from you. And I liked this bit of green lace or ribbon or whatever it is that I have. It's really kind of scratchy. It's thick. I like that a lot, though. It adds a lot of texture. And I pulled this from the Graphic 45 bit. And then this says, yes, it's true. I'm here and I'm just as strange as you. So lots of Frida quotes kind of sprinkled throughout. And then finally, last but not least, I have my I think this was the second tutorial that I might have done. I did this sugar skull image, and I added the rose. I added the little gems for the eyes, but this is a shaker. You can't really see it, but you can hear it. It's a little shaker that I did, and this was a sugar skull of someone that meant a lot to me and my family, and so I wanted to use that in this project. And then on the back, this is another Frida painting, and so I've done this. There is a tutorial on how I did these, and I believe it was tutorial number 2, but anyhow, the only thing that I've changed since that tutorial was adding the rose, the eyes, and then I did some gold flecking through here with the gold metallic watercolor. And that is it. That is all. And I put this one on the back just because it's so chunky. And I did this. This was a project that I kind of did for myself, so I'll be holding on to it. I'm so super excited to have this. Again, Frida is one of my favorite artists, and not necessarily her portraits or her artwork, but just because of who she was and her struggles. And I just think that she is very interesting indeed. So if you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. If there are some techniques that you saw in here that I didn't address in some of the technique videos, please let me know. I'm happy to share how I did these. And I think that I'm going to display this from I was thinking from a hook, like a banana holder with a little hook on the end, that I might use that to display it. But if you guys are aware of any other cool ways to display this, that would be helpful. But I think that that's the route I'm going to go. Anyhow, until next time, bye.